Maboy ka, ito no, kina, atiawo no, Takahi, what's going on? So I came back. I don't know, I put something on Facebook Live, and I'm gonna tell you about my family, how they ground, they the opposite of how I am. Anyway, this here is mint crystals. It's good when you put it in coal. I got a thing of put it in coal and you see it makes this. It's so mint. It's so good. It helps you breathe, and like I said, breath is so important when you breathe in. I try to do not to do too much, you know, but mint is awesome for you. And I got a couple of leaves of eucalyptic leaves on that coal. And so, wow, it's really smoky. You can see it in a few minutes. So I put a couple of mint stuff on there. Let's start breathing in. Water. I got some water. I got some watermelon. Watermelon is a Viagra. I got some of that. Not that I'm planning on anything, but anyway. Well, who is speaking about the Star Energy Center? Let me get a little piece of this watermelon here. Mm, wonderful. I love seeded watermelon. Well, I hope you can hear me good because I'm doing without headphones in the microphone. You guys can hear me better. And like I was saying earlier, it's a beautiful day. You see that? That's the mint. It's a beautiful day, here in North Carolina. Such a beautiful day. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And we were speaking earlier about the Star Energy Center and the connection to source. Okay. Now I want to go over the whole idea of healing karmic wounds. Karmic wounds, and I know karmic is a Hindu word, what I'm saying, but it's to describe an incident, karma. It's to describe a conditioning, an incident that is formed by someone else's behavior or by your own behavior, and you create this consequence. That's what karmic is, consequence. It's a Hindu word for consequence. You know what I'm saying? And so, we came out of a whole, in humanity, we, and I say we, but not, um, as to put us all in that pool, that we got to be responsible for what others do. But in certain situations, like in slavery, it could be responsible for it, So a lot of that incidents had wound. There are still people carrying those wounds, through the colonialization, through slavery, either be chattel slavery or slavery, what was experienced in the Caribbean and in North America. And even in Europe, there was slaves being brought to Europe and amongst races itself, even amongst the Chinese, different dynasties had fought wars and some became slaves. In Japanese, I watched a Japanese movie. This young Japanese girl was a slave to the feudal law. You know what I'm saying? So when this was practiced, and it left a wound in the genetics of certain people. You know what I'm saying? And you can see by the reaction that certain people have, you see how these deep wounds surface. You know what I'm saying? Through their actions and through their way of living. And so when you connect to the source, when you activate the energy behind your star power, you help heal those wounds. Because now you're looking at everything. You can look into the future and you can look at the now and knowing that you have the ability to shape your future as of now. You know what I'm saying? And that repairs the past in the sense of it brings you to the now and saying, well, this I'm not my past. You know what I'm saying? This just happened in the past. I'm not my past. That does not define who I am. You know what I'm saying? My past. I'm defined by my now, what I do now, my responsibility of what I do at this present moment. That helps shape my future. So you got some people that are invested in this narrative of slavery and always going back and back. And it's good to study as far as study. It's like you have to know a little bit about your history and stuff in order not to repeat those mistakes, and that so that history don't repeat itself again. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but then where's the responsibility? You know what I'm saying? You can't always you can't live in the past, in the slave past. You got to go in you got to be in the now. You know what I'm saying? What are you now? You know what I'm saying? You got people out there calling them, I'm king, I'm a queen, but what responsibility do they have? How are they practicing this responsibility? So it's wounds that come up. You know what I'm saying? Wounds that come up. And when you connect to source, it helps heal because now you're looking at your now and you're looking at your connection to the source, your star, and you're harnessing your star power. That helps shape who you are now. You know, it helps springboard things forward. You know, so when you let me see, it's too early to sun gaze. I usually like to sun gaze on sunset. I'll take my glasses off and I'll sit here by my window and start sun gazing. You know, and it's beautiful. I try to catch it when it's again at the 30-degree angle because that's when the light becomes less for your. It becomes comfortable for your receptors. You know what I'm saying? Your optical receptors. So you have to watch that. If you go out during the day, like at noon, then your skin gazes at the sun. It's good to get that energy in all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'll take off my shirt, I'll sit out there and get that sun in. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. So that's again connecting to the source. That's your highest, that's one of your highest destiny. Because once you connect to that source and then that source connects through the multiverse, then you're able to live your life in the fullness, what I'm saying, as a celestial being having an astral experience, an extra astral experience. So you become an extra terrestrial. What I'm saying? Consciousness. All has to deal with a consciousness. What I'm saying? They talk about aliens traveling and aliens living out there, but alien, there are, like right now they're doing a lot of study about consciousness. But anyway, we don't want to go so deep into that because that's going to a whole different area. But we're going to stick on with the star energy center, which is to connect to the source, which the source is the sun, because the sun is the star. So I don't know how much what more can I say about that? I got my iPad here. So before I left, I was telling you that the stars, the sun, is composed of hydrogen, helium. It converts the hydrogen to helium, and then you get oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, silicon, magnesium, neon, iron, and sulfur. And then it converts everything to heat and light. And then, as you know, light create matter. They're doing studies right now, and they see how light frequencies help create matter. You know what I'm saying? So that goes into another deep conversation also that we can have at another time when we can see the sources there, the articles there, and we'll go in on that. But I think we scratched the surface on the most important thing about the Star Energy Center. You remember this, is connection with the earth. That means your earth is a genetic blueprint. It is your sustainer. Also, it's its genetic blueprints, it's your ancestral pattern. So also this star also has an ancestral pattern and a genetic blueprint in terms of that star, that sun is connected to the multiverse and the symbols, an archetype of a person. That means what stars, collectible suns are you born under? and it helps shape your human experiences. Like it helps shape insects and animals' experiences here. You know what I'm saying? And our ancient ancestors, it helps shape their experiences, their civilization. Ants, same way. Beetles, flies, all these insects and animals move in connection with the multiverse, with the constellations. They even name some of those constellation animal names. They give them, Taurus, Aries, the Ram, and so on and so on. I'm saying the Greek did that. But that's the connection that it has. So um, it heals those karmic wounds. Okay, it connects you to the source, and it's your highest destiny. Is to walk with, excuse me, walk with your ideas coming from the multiverse, but being filtered, right? That past being filtered and being connected and balanced by your paradigm, which is your subconscious mind, which is your habits, your paradigms, and those experiences. So everything has to be connected. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you're able to change your habitual. Once you find out things about your genetics and find out about your astral archetype and symbols, you're able to shape your habits to create, shift your paradigm. That's how it heals those karmic wounds. You shape those paradigms by creating these new habitual forms, habitual experiences. Habits. Let me put some more mint on here. I got a little cold there. Or maybe I should put. Let me see. I don't know. I never did that before. Anyway, let it just burn out. So that's very important about this star. The energy behind the that you will put and focus on connection to the sun, the sun gazing, finding out a lot of things about the sun and how it affects your how it affects your body, and your spirit is your character and personality. Your attitude is your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And your currency. What I wanted to say too, that governments know this. They're in contact with NASA. They have these observatory. They're always looking, observing the night sky. They're always observing. And governments don't make a move without them being in tune with that constellation. You know that? I found out later on that some of the presidents always had an an astrology person that was advising them when to make war or when to make move or peace treaty. All of this connecting with the personalities, what I'm saying, the spiritual, the constellation, and the way that it affects humanity. You know what I'm saying? So I found that very, very interesting, and that's how I started at an early age. You know, uh, um, with the idea, I started at an early age saying that, wow, how the constellation. I even found out, about my constellation that I was born in. Because remember, this is the thing you gotta think also that since the Earth is going to a precession, it's at a 23-degree angle, so it's going through a precession. So there is a time that December, if you're born December, is a time that in the precession, the center of the earth might not be facing Sagittarius. Sagittarius constellation might be facing the Aquarius or might be facing the Capricorn. You know what I'm saying? So it shifts. So that's what I say that you have to, when you get into astronomy and astronomy, you have to look into the positioning, the possession. There's a lot of things that comes to play. The possessions of the earth and the way it moves and so on. And like they said, we see these constellations appear. So I had a vision, a dream one time that I was trying to find out, so where in the stars I belong, and my home of the stars and the planet, whatever. And one day I dreamt about a star constellation, and it was a Big Dipper. And I was like, wow. And then I started looking into that, the dog star and the Orion or the Great Bear. And I was like, Ursula. And I was like, yo. And I was going deep and deep and deep in it. So um, to this day, I'm trying to find out, what character, personality. But you get to know it. Things that come to you. Like things people might say. And remember, consciousness is threefold. Awareness is consciousness. You can be conscious of yourself, of the way you react to things. And you can be conscious of how others react to you. See, that's two different ways of that's two different levels of consciousness. And then the other third consciousness is what awareness of how you actually are. Because you may perceive yourself a certain way, others perceive you in another certain way, but what you truly are, which is again, which is connected to your your multiverse, your symbols, your archetype, that is your true self. You know what I'm saying? And that's what some sacred orders try to, they missed the mark on that, but then that's where they were heading to. It's is finding out what constellation when you were born, and what constellation, and also what constellation is governing our present time right now. You know, let me get a little bit more of this watermelon. I love watermelon. It's crazy. I'm doing a podcast. I'm eating watermelon. It's telling you I'm human. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what more can we explore into it without getting too technical. You know, we brought up already what. Let me see. We brought up already what sun is made of. You know what I'm saying? That was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? That it has an abundance of elements, and that's the composition of the sun. They catalog 67 chemical elements in the sun, but the main dominant elements are the 10 that I mentioned, which is hydrogen, helium, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, silicon, magnesium, neon, iron, and sulfur. Those 10 are the most dominant ones. And it goes to 0.015 all the way up to 91.2% of that sun's hydrogen. And I can't find it right now, but there's a report that said the Japanese said that the sun is losing its mass. But there's much more to that, because the sun, they say, has billions of years of a lifespan for billions of years. So we don't know how old the sun really is. You know what I'm saying? They're still doing the studies on that, But see what else we could bring up here. Okay. Okay. You see, I'm going over. So I'm not going to go into the list of galaxies and stuff. But however, I wanted to bring up something here very interesting. And when we start getting deeply into these energy center, I'm gonna one day do a podcast. It's a music podcast, and it's making the connection between music and the connection with these energy centers, and see how far we can get into that. But I'm looking for here. And I can't find it. So you're not gonna find a lot about the star energy center because, like I said, we're bombarded by the Hindu paradigm. Saying that the Hindu doctrine. And remember, like I said, dogma and doctrine can block you from connecting to the source because it's just dogma and doctrine. And what they do, they create a blockage because it doesn't allow you to really connect to the source, which is the sun. A lot of times they fragment it and they code it. I was talking to my brother and I'm saying, why do they use the eagle or the falcon, which is an eagle, the falcon, when they speak about Heru, Hur, Haru, Hur. The eagle goes Hur, Heru. You know, that's interesting too. How our ancestors use animal sounds to create this symbology. You know what I'm saying? And the falcon or the eagle flies to the sun and gains this energy. It's like they fly, they soar out to the sun. It's like the story of like Superman. I think it was fly out to the sun so he can get energized, and that's what falcons do. They'll fly out to the sun as far as they can, and they'll get that energy source, that substance they need, so they can come on down, swoop on down, and get busy, do what they got to do. Oh man, I'm trying to find. Uh, Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I wanted to go into the 12, or is it the 13 or 12? 12 chakra. Yeah, and see what. Okay. Yeah. So these are energy centers, but there are much more energy centers that are it's like I say, where this energy center all about. I mean, because just like the multiverse is so diverse and so many things going on. You know, so the 7 energy center that's located inside the body, and then you got the crown as out and the star and the other ones, but I'm trying to pull it up. Man, I had it. I had a list. Yeah, I had a list. Okay. Interesting. So once we get past it, so the Earth connection's the 10th one. The first energy center will be the root, but the 10th, I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. Just give me a second of bringing it up. Yep, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that, y'all. Technology, right? It's like you gotta always renew your. Oh, I see what's going on here. Because I got 5G, and when it goes into 2G, I don't know, it'll go 2G by itself. It stops from a lot of things. Okay, I'm back on, y'all. I'm back on. I'm back on. I'm back on. It's crazy, you know. I'm just having a good time. Like I said, I'm breathing, and that helped me out a lot. I went out shopping. The air went out. So I'm trying to. It's crazy. I really am waiting to give me a desktop. I had one desktop my mother had. I got rid of that one. I need to get in, build up my studio. You know. So yeah. So when you deal with the energy center, also what you're doing is you also revving up. You're energizing your cells in your body, yourself. That's very important because most of us we have that energetic block, imbalances, as well as energy that the sabotaging habits that prevent us from accessing our full vitality, which leads us to feel exhausted, scattered, and stuff. Now, good news is it doesn't have to continue, because they are. God, just keeps doing this. Ah,
Big bros.
Joshua, I'm doing a podcast.
Your podcast started.
Hello.
Can I get some paper?
Hold on a second. Okay, I'm sorry about that. You know, I got a family. I need things. So I don't know what's going on with this. And um, so the idea of dealing with this energy centers that we've gone through and we reached the star is to make every cell in our body, man, rejoice. Make everything, look at our lives and focus. You know what I'm saying? And really focus on it, think about it, and put action to it. You can unleash those powers. You could those dimensions in our human experiences. You know, there are many. So so this star energy center, time transcendental connection to the source. Then you have another one. The ninth one is the seat of the soul. They say the seat of the soul. What is the soul? We need to get into that. And then mind over matter is the 11th one, and then the 12th is a universal unity. We're not going to go too deep into that. Um, because well, first, well, yeah, well, when you deal with the star energy center, which is located slightly above the crown by 1 inch, we enter to the realm of what they call space and time. And remember, you got space, matter, and time. But when you got space, you got vacuum. And when you got vacuum, you can, it facilitates the movement of matter. This vacuum, because matter is always present. It's almighty. Matter is always present. And then time is the measurement or the relationship that matter has when it's in the container of space or in a vacuum. You know, so we can go deeply into that. So we're entering into a realm of space and time. The energy center is said to open access to parallel universes and lives. So it gives access to the realm of the Akashic records and the sphere of potentiality in the making. It is a youthful center for shamanic healing and communication with spirit guides. Now, this is leaning a little more towards, that type of science, okay? But I like to keep it real, natural nature. You know what I'm saying? I like to balance it out with the human experiences that we're experiencing here on Earth. You know what I'm saying? So when you deal with Akasha records again, what they call the Book of Life, Akasha records, you're dealing with ancestral DNA information. You know what I'm saying? So this connection to the sun, the source, by you sun gazing and by you involving yourself with the sun, does open up certain genetic material. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a chemistry that's involved in it. It's a catalyst, a chemistry, it's an initiator, certain uh, um, certain chemicals being released by certain, genetics and certain chemicals being released in certain organs. Now, when you go further up from the crown chakra, the ninth, on and on, the seat of soul, it allows to your soul code or your higher purpose. It can be seen in door. Okay, so we spoke about archetype energy and patterns that play a role in shaping our destiny. So when we speak about those constellations, the multiverse, yeah, that's another energy center. When we deal with the star energy center, we're dealing with the source, the sun. And then the other energy center on top of that deals with this archetype, deals with the multiverse. and then on and on and on. Um, you know, so and the 10th one, we already know about the 10th one is the Earth Energy Center. Okay. Okay, so there's if you know anything about the supernatural powers, what is supernatural? What is a natural power that seems to be extra super? Saying beyond what you experience on a daily basis. So it goes beyond, and there's sorts of shamanic dimensions, portals of magic. Um, you know, it's it's the energy that helps you use your mind as a powerful tool to shape matter. Okay, so that's going into deep into something else. Um, then when you deal with the 12th one, the mastery of soul's purpose through our human experience. So again, a lot of this has to do with a lot of human experiences, human technology, you know what I'm saying, and dealing with the cosmos, the constellations, and then having that deal with grounded on earth and dealing with how we navigate through life with this human experiences. And that's what we call human technology. One of the greatest gifts that we have, you know. And when you are aware means you consciously develops from that. You get to see who you really are. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide it. You get to see who you really are. Not what you want to see, okay? What you believe in seeing, and not what others see, but there is a connection with the multiverse, with your archetype, okay? Your symbols, your constellation, that determines of who you really are, at the end of it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't know, um, if anybody wants, well, there's nobody on here, right? Only one person. If you want to come on, you can come on. I can bring you in. But anyway, the energy center are so powerful. You know what I'm saying? It deals with human experiences, these energy centers. So we reached the top. Well, we can't go, and I wanted to keep it on the 9. You know what I'm saying? And in the 9th, we involved the other 3 because we started to understand that particular energy center that's above the crown, that star energy center, is genetic blueprint, it's ancestral pattern of constellation, ancestral pattern, all of that, and knowing cosmically, galactically, of how we're connected. You know what I'm saying? That's the higher destiny. So when you're aware of all this, and once you become aware of it, conscious of it, now you have to respond to it, which is responsibility. You have to respond to it. Be responsible. You know what I'm saying? And work with it. Work what focus you need to focus on at the time. If it's gonna be money, you want to focus on getting your money or your currency up, whatever. Understand that, yeah, a lot of people also use other energy center to help strengthen that currency, that which is in the root energy center, food, money, and shelter, right? So if you can work about making more money, you have to know the seasons of, you know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with stock, you have to know the constellations also, because there's certain people that do not move or do any business until the time is right, galactically. That's the way a lot of these billionaires move like that. They don't make a move if it's not if they don't understand it from the astronomy point of sense, or the time is right. This is the time to get involved in this because the planet is on this. You know what I'm saying? And that goes back into the happy river, the Nile River. You know what I'm saying? That ancient Kemetic people knew by the constellation of how this Nile was going to flourish, flood, and give the right condition for vegetation, which is the commodity, the wheat they grew, or the papyrus, or the reed. You know what I'm saying? That was their currency. That was their currency. So they knew that when was the right time. And that's the way currency works. You know what I'm saying? Let me get another piece of this. If you want to, wherever you want to focus in your life, you got to look at the energy behind it. If you want to focus on your money, and so you got to look at the root. You got to look at what you eat. You got to look at your environment. What kind of environment you're trying to create, the proper environment so that you can have this currency and grow your borders, what they call become wealthy. Yeah. If you want to hone in on your ability to speak, then you know it's going to be in the throat. And then also understand that this root has a reciprocal, which is the crown. So you also got to connect both in order to get this currency going. You got to understand that you have, and that's again, you're aware, conscious of the next energy center, the source of it all, and then the constellation. You got to know the right season, right? You want to deal with your vocal. Know that it's a reciprocal connected to your solar plexus, where your identity is at, your personal power. So you got to harness that too in order to get this also connected. Is going to help this power that you have in your voice. You know what I'm saying? So and those are the two that moves us, and what moves us and lights and putting that into action would be your ability, your purpose, which is in your heart. The access is your heart, which has neurons. It's a brain. It functions like a brain, your heart, because it has neurons. So it puts things in place. It moves, you know, and the way you can balance that, and the way you can get this ship going is by, for one, harnessing those special skills of caring, kindness, and getting rid of the blockage, the grievance. That means getting rid of that deep sorrow, getting rid of that regret. No regrets, no deep sorrow. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, you know, get away that blockage. You know, and when you deal with money, you got to get rid of the guilt. What guilt are you holding? You know what I'm saying? You know, some people are afraid to make big money. They're guilty. You know, but I'm not saying to be ruthless. You gotta be. You have to have a sense of going. You know what I'm saying? But when you deal with that, also you gotta understand ego. You gotta, and when the root, and you're dealing with money, and you're dealing with the root energy center, understand that that's reciprocal is that crown energy center, right? You have to be cognizant of the fact that this one is blocked. This crown is blocked by ego attachment, you know? So you got to understand about micromanaging everything, you know what I'm saying? Not to micromanage. You got to understand to keep that learning beginner's mindset. And these how billionaires get down. They're always learning something, they're always reading, they're always learning something. They always in library, they have their own library. So you can see how they are are cognizant of the ego. And that because the ones that are not and let the ego get the best play to them and block that energy are the ones that usually want to bankrupt, lose everything. You know, poor management. Poor. I one time heard this one billionaire said, I create things and then I put people in place to run it and I walk away from it and I let it do its thing. A person that wants to micromanage everything is in there, that's not how success is built. Thing is to build your shit Then employ others to keep it running and going, and let it grow on its own. Step away from it. Step because you've done, you know, there's much more other things to do. And also, don't ever think that you've done it all. Oh, I've done it all, But guys don't think like that. They always think, man, there's so much more to do. They look for that void. So much more that I can do. I'm looking for the void. I can feel that void. You know, I can feel that want, which creates that void in there. And then when he does it, establishes it, walks away, let that flourish on his own. And there's more to do. There's more to learn. You know what I'm saying? That's how you keep your ego in check. Always like there's always something to learn. Always. You know, every day. Every day I learn every day. You know. And I'm not, trust me, I'm not a billionaire. I mean, I act like a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? I put my fame in that mind. I got wealth because knowing about this energy centers and being able to heal yourself and your mind and your soul, it's more, it's worth more than anything out there. Some moments, it's more than anything out there. You know, once you have, a good idea of how you want to manage those energies that you have that create this currency, you're on your way. You know what I'm saying? It helps you make the right decisions. It helps you establish your personal power. It helps you understand about ego. It helps you to stay away from that dogma and that indoctrination. Not good. You know, get to know your work. Get to know who you really are, so that you can have that conversation with people. Hey, I know who I really are. Ancestral, wise. You know, you know. It's the wealth is health. Wealth is health. Mm. That mint smelling good, 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 y'all. Yep. It's so. I don't worry about anything anymore. I just don't. Things happen to just. I flow with it. It comes to me. So I'm sharing a lot, and I want to get to a point where I can share. I can increase my borders even more. Share with the like-minded people to create this common unity, what we call community, this common unity, and go forward. You know, there is a place for everybody to partake in the right human experiences. You know, there's a disruptor out there. We don't need that. We don't need to be afraid. Fear, false evidence appearing real, not real. Fear. Nope. Got to put that in check. Mhm. I'm glad to see that things are getting a little back in place here in North Carolina. The mall is open, people walking around, people shopping. Necessity. Still, it's easy for me to walk to any establishment and have a conversation with anybody. I'm built like that. As a matter of fact, they used to always make fun of me. How come everywhere you go, it's like you're like you're running for mayor? You know everybody. You're saying hi to everybody. Because I don't have that blockage. I can communicate. I don't go around, you know, giving any false impression of myself. I'm happy in who I am. I really am. I'm happy uh, of what I am and what I've become. I'm okay. I'm just healing and I'm getting better and better and better. And I'm learning. No ego in there. I got a beginner's mindset. I'm learning. This is a new thing that I'm going into now. This whole energy. I knew it back then, bits and pieces. I knew it back then, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I read books on Kundalini, got on the sacred orders, whatever, but I didn't pay too much attention. It wasn't really, it didn't grab me like it should have grown me. One of the first book I read before I went to one of those temples, the Ansar Allah, the Sufi temple, the Ansar Allah temple, was The Third Mind, The Third Eye. It was a book by I think a German lady, an old lady, but third eye. And it showed the face of the Sphinx. That captivated me. And and that's the first time I started getting into, and that was about 1980, 81. I started getting into the whole idea of chakras at that time. And look, I'm back at it again with a new setup, with a new mindset. Great. You know, because now the stuff that's implanted in me subconsciously, the memories and the back surfacing, and I'm beginning able to see, you know, the common unity, and I'm able to now even apply because now I lived the life since 1980 on. I went through a lot of experiences, so now I'm able to see, correct my, I'm able to, in the now, correct myself now, you know. I'll see. So, how this is being beneficial. I know this is going to be beneficial for everyone because it's being beneficial for me. And and all you have to do really listen. I know I made these podcasts a little longer, like an hour, for a particular purpose. Is that we have attention span. We have to learn how to hang in there and have this long attention span. A lot of us have a short attention span, so we miss things. It's the way we're being built now. And that's because of the flickering of TV, the light, the programming. You know what I'm saying? Gives you one scene here, one scene there, one scene there. You're not being patient and viewing, listening, and viewing the whole content. But people have a short. So the reason why I made these long, I'm gonna make my other ones shorter, but I wanted to purposely make them long, an hour, because I wanted to see is who has that long attention span, who can actually listen to someone else speak for about an hour. There's people out there that speak for 5 hours straight. Do you have the attention span of that? Well, I wanted to see if that's a possibility. But few people contacted me, but I haven't had the conversation yet. They said, have you seen the whole podcast? So what did you get out of it? I'm learning. So I know when I view this again, what I get out of it. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what I'm getting out of it. After this podcast, I definitely want to do a Zoom. I definitely want to bring people in. See anybody want to come in, have this conversation, but I guess the timing has to be right. People working. What time is it now? It's around 6 o'clock now. So, and then Facebook will be bugging because I know a lot of times they're not gonna put out that I'm going live. People are not gonna get notification or whatever like that. Facebook is changing. A lot of these companies had a discussion. I gotta say, I had a discussion. And whatever technology is right now, appearing right now, is technology that they have 40 years ago. And the reason why I say that because I think this blockchain technology that people are now existed 40 years ago. That certain people were doing. That's where the whole concept of streaming came from. They wasn't giving out any more record deals in the music industry. Now it was about your streaming ability. How many people streaming you? How many people are following you? Then you have what they call corporation investing. They make a commercial and they invest in your stream and they monetize that particular stream. Or a label come in and says, okay, being that you have so much stream and you're able to monetize and you got all these corporations interested in giving you, the ad in your content, we'll open up a credit for you. We'll give you $30 million or $300 million credit. I believe your guys can pay it back with your streaming. Before you used to be with record deal, now streaming. More people get record deals out there like that. They went from giving an artist a record deal to then giving producers record deal because they wanted to knock out the AR department, downsize, go to the AR department, get rid of the AR department, put it in the independent producers' hands, let them handle it, just give us the music, the content. And then, now it's streaming. At Tashaki 6ix9ine didn't even have a record deal. Didn't have nobody interested in him, but he has so many subscriber people streaming him. Insane. Millions of people streaming this guy. And his numbers was up, and he said, I'm the most streamed person. He was speaking like, now, he was not saying, I was the most one selling CD or the most selling records. No, it was, I was the most being streamed. I created a stream, a net worth of streaming. So now during his streams, he got companies to be invested in him, and the credit line got opened up. I got that bag. Then, since a record label are so attached with a bank, the banking is the one that controls the record label. For the line of credit. Record label is a corporation. They open up a line of credit by bonds. A line of credit with a bank. And now the bank owns the artist. Now the artist can go directly with the bank. They don't have to go to the record labels anymore. The record label, a lot of them moved into distribution, bought up a lot of distribution companies like BMG, a lot of distribution, Sony distribution. They opened up their own distributions. But now that all been wiped out because now you got streaming, Internet of Things. I don't need to distribute now. I don't need to print out CDs. Yeah, I will print out a few CDs, for people collectible items and people collecting CDs or whatever. Yeah, and even vinyls. They still print them, you know. But they just put it on a streaming. Now, you know, you got to look into the streaming companies now that are able to have connection with. You see, Spotify is a streaming company. What else is SoundCloud streaming? You got many different streaming companies out there. Sometimes you can put your content in there for free. You know what I'm saying? You can put it in there or buy a membership, free or buy a membership. But when you put it up on there, if it develops a certain amount of streaming, if it becomes like hit, and a lot of traffic is going to that streaming, trust me, they're gonna monetize you. And then they're gonna stick the commercials in there. They're gonna make them deals. Bank are gonna make them deals with other corporations. And it's all about streaming and control. You know? So the world banking cartel, and they're wanting to control the masses of people. That's what's going on now. Damn, that's what's going on now. Is the banking cartels, what they call the black nobility, those houses of Orange, the houses of Harrisburg, all these different that, as a matter of fact, they are in control of the metals and the resources of the world. You know what I'm saying? The trade, they're manipulating this trade. You know what I'm saying? China is huge in that. And China has one of the biggest streaming companies out there too. Right now, what do they do? TikTok became so huge, TikTok, that now they got Walmart to come in and get a piece of that bag. An Oracle, you know. They stopped Facebook and Amazon, them people from doing that. That's what the whole trial was about. Because they were creating this monopoly and they were the new money, the new currency. Wasn't social media or whatever. But in order not to create this monopoly and just take over the world, you know, now they allow families, Walmart families, people that control Walmart, Oracle, and other to want to get a piece of the action. You know. That the deals that go on. You know, if let's say everybody, and then I'm throwing this idea out there, everybody, let's say the island of Borinquen, Puerto Rico, and they were to get together and invest in technology, right? And then buy companies like that, like TikTok, or buy streaming companies, right? That the island of Puerto Rico becomes a house itself, a foundation where it's able to invest in technologies out there, things have changed. But what's happening with an island like that and with people, that mindset is they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that because you have still a lot of people that think the old way. They're still stuck on the old way, which is no more. Imperial ways that are no longer relevant in today's day and time. Now it's the car holders right now, card holders. One of the main card holder right now is China. Remember China? Went behind the fence. They put up that block, communist block. Right? They put up that block, that facade for communists, but they were operating in a capitalist way. They were investing in Africa. They were going out there and buying companies and mimicking their product and creating what they call the underground products. You know, I'll buy a little Gucci stocks, whatever, but I take the Gucci handbags and make what they call knockoffs. China was huge in knockoffs and imported a lot of that through Broadway. Because then you got all these Africans that peeped the game and went into Broadway and bought a lot of knockoffs on clothing, knockoffs. That's the back end door, the back door, the knockoff. China, when they put up that front, what communists? Meanwhile, they letting the world know that was just a facade. But we are really capitalist society. We're about investing. We're going out there. We're conquering. They always been like that. Always. When they got pushed back by the British, when they tried to go out there and get into the opium trade, the British pushed them back. There was an opium war. China went as far as creating the fentanyl, the synthetic opiates, and creating this fentanyl pandemic epidemic that was out here. People was dying all over the streets. And ships come from China. They were imported from China to Mexico, mixed it in with real heroin. So you got a very important product that was killing a lot of people. In China, that's ain't no joke, bro. Then you got a system like America, and the people that run America don't even live in America. No, they're using these people as puppets. Trump is a puppet. He just came over a reality show called The Apprentice. He is the apprentice. He was sitting on the throne firing people. He was getting ready. They were getting him ready for him to sit in the seat where he's did the same shit. And then let's see what in business, let's see what you could come up with. I checked out that show a couple of times. They had a couple of projects. And see what product you can come up with, and this and this and that, and let's see how well you can organize things. That's what Trump was doing. And now he comes, you know what I'm saying? But the people manipulating him, like the reality show, are what? Or who? The bankers, the people who got the funds or the connection to put that reality show in motion. This is the prototype. This is what we're going to do it. Boom. So who's controlling those strings? You know, then when you got something like the Senate, because now you got people coming from the Senate trying to run the show, and the Senate themselves, they know how things work because they were making a lot of deals. Biden's with his son with the Ukraine deal and the whole thing. That's Trump tried to pull that car. But what happened? They raced that car. You don't see him pushing that narrative anymore. Although that Republican talking point, you don't see that anymore. You know, they put that to rest because Trump the same shit. The same. This is how they get down. This is the trick. But who is running this system? the World Banker, the Federal Reserve, the people that sit, the judges, the people that sit in Vatican that are have seats or knighted and queen seats in these houses called the House of Orange, the House of Hanover. There are many old houses. The House of Rothschild, the House of the Rosenthal. These are houses of people. And of course, you got people that rise up in that because they are connected to the family members of the House of Orange or the House of Rosenthal. You know what I'm saying? And they use other families, like the Kennedys, they use other families, they use the mafia, they use different entities in this system. Meanwhile, they sit back and they are the one that control all the steel, the earth, the land, man. They're the one that's in control. They're the one in Africa in those mines pulling out those gems. You know what I'm saying? Not China, those houses in China. The Li, House of Li, Li, the House of Li. Huge family. They run a lot of shit in China and all over the global world. You know, there was a good book that spoke about that, revealed that a lot, but I think they killed that dude. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm making here is that I don't even know why I went to this conversation. How I can link it back. I want to stay, well, like I said, the energy behind money, currency, it just go in layers. You know what I'm saying? In layers and layers. One thing that these houses, world bankers and houses, are very invested in when it comes is they're very connected genetically on ancestral patterns. They're very, very connected. And like I say, they don't make moves unless the galactical constellation dictates certain things that they're able to say, okay, it's the time and the right season to do it. They have an up on that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's understanding the certain patterns, you know, and now all of that is being mimicked in the technological world. They're trying to create a separate augmented reality, an artificial intelligence, an augmented reality, a virtual reality. Okay? But that deals with a specific type of consciousness. And that's because they're trying to find out what is consciousness and what is the all consciousness. And how does it work, this awareness, and how is it connected with DNA and genetics? They're just connecting themselves to different venues, and that's important. That's very, very, very important when you deal with those industries. I'm not there yet. I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get down like that. You know, because it takes organization. It takes people of sound mind. The more you learn about this energy center and the more you start healing yourself and getting in tune, you get to see how in the past you were delusional and you were misinformed and delusional, all those illusions and the lies you told yourself and not connecting to the source and the individuality and everything. The more you get to see people around you, how delusional they are. And people are so comfortable complicit when it comes to and comfortable with their dogma and doctrine. They're not yet aware of what's happening. So they become very comfortable. You know, 9 to 5 job, coming home, eat, watch a movie. The same thing, or maybe even read a book or whatever, or get into politics. Now is see my Facebook page, and you know what I'm saying. But having real conversations, I didn't do it too much in the past, but now I'm I have no time for the bullshit. I just don't have any time for any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I have a mind, and I'm going to learn, you know, as much as I can, and I'm going to ask questions because I'm on a quest to learn the right beneficial thing that is gonna benefit all humanity. I'm putting in my part, you know what I'm saying? My part for all humanity, you know? That's a 5 pattern on this one, five pattern on the opposite way with this one. This is how I learned how to balance myself, you know what I'm saying? Like studying, patterns is about balancing it. You know, your paradiddle, double paradiddle, you know, and those patterns. And this is the 5 pattern. Remember the song? My brother said that. That sounds like Ralph McDonald. Does it? Hey. I can't remember that when he played that. That's interesting. But anyway, I'm so happy because I finally scratched the surface of all these energy centers. Now I'm beginning to see it all in that one accord, that chord. I'm beginning to see that now. So it's just maybe, but I want to stay humble because there's still so much to learn. It's just the beginning. There's so much to do when it comes to focusing and learning about these energy center. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it right here, and then like I said, the other podcast I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to do as short as possible, and just speak on one thing only, and boom, that's it. Okay, peace. I love you all. What is it? Di anihi bui. Di anihi bui means I love you. Seneca Kahona, abundant blessings to you all. Okay, peace. Bye.